It would be good to talk about the last 12 months and the airplay and attention that this band has had, which has pretty much led to their decision to record a second album later this year. Formed in their school days in the country town of Dalby, Queensland, in Australia, Josh and Murray's friendship span both their unique musical styles and their passion for honest, challenging lyrics. By late 2012, Josh and Murray were joined by Pete on the drums. With the full support of their families, the trio made the brave decision to self-fund the professional recording of an album, using some tracks from their earlier demo, Reflections, in addition to some new tracks written as a three-piece. While recording Chair, the band decided their name needed more impact. Updraft was a direct reference to Isaiah 40:31. Quote, "For those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." End quote. To stress the band's shared belief that as Christians, they should always be seeking and working towards something higher. A name that gave a strong reminder of this was agreed on. And so, the Updraft Imperative was born. Hi, this is Pat Stone, and we are in the spotlight with Pat Stone on Spreaker Radio. And with us, we have Joshua Kerr. Kerr, am I pronouncing your last name, Joshua?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Joshua Kerr. Okay. And Murray Siddons? Siddons?
Mate, that is the first time. Siddons. That's pretty close, mate.
Cool. All right. From the group called the Updraft Imperative. They are in Brisbane, Australia. Well, actually, one of you is in Brisbane, right?
Yeah, that's me, Josh. I'm in Brisbane at the moment, and Murray's in Toowoomba.
Where?
Which is in Toowoomba, which is just about an hour and a half outside of Brisbane. Not too far.
Well, cool. We're doing a first here, in that we're doing a three-way call on Skype for this interview, man. This is fantastic.
No, it's cool. I'm out in the boondocks, mate. If you want to call that terminology.
So I take it that dog barking in the background must be yours.
Yeah, that's mine. Guilty as charged. So
that's okay. All right. So listen, tell me a little bit about the Updraft Imperative.
You can go for it, Muzz, if you want.
I can go for it, right? Yeah. Well, Pat, the Updraft Imperative. Josh and I have a bit of history before we get into the band. We went to school together, which is a very long time ago now. So Josh and I have been involved in music and playing together for over 20 years. And so we've been a friend. There's been friendships at school, and of course when school finished. And so we've been in a couple of different groups and a couple of different musical entities, if you want to call it that. And we had a bit of a time apart. We followed up different musical groups, and about 8 years ago, we were both at a bit of a loose end, and so we said, look, it'd be cool if we just get together and catch up. And of course, there just happened to be a couple of guitars in the room, and we just happened to hack out some of the older songs, and then we just happened to come up with a couple of new songs, and then the Updraft Imperative just happened. So that's kind of how it's came about, mate.
Okay, wow. So now, how far apart do you guys live, like time-wise, like an hour's drive, or?
Well, if I'm in Brisbane for 1.5,
maybe
optimistic. If I 2.5, it takes me 2.5 to get home from practice. Anyway.
So, all right, and so now you guys get together and you practice and everything else, or do you guys practice like through Skype or some other means? Or do you even practice? I'm sure you do.
We do practice. Murray's normally the one that's in the car, drives from Toowoomba up to Brisbane, because Pete, our drummer, he lives in Brisbane as well. So Murray's, he doesn't mind travelling, but at the same time, it's a pretty big sacrifice, you know. It's another 5 hours drive in the day for him to come to practice, but We're not sort of every week or anything. We sort of practice when we can, and if we've got something coming up gig wise, we'll put in extra effort. But yeah.
And now, are you guys like touring or playing in any particular? You guys play mostly in Brisbane, or how does that work in terms of your gigs?
Look, most of the stuff that we play is local, and I mean we have play a variety of places. So on Friday night we were in one of the Brisbane's main nightlife areas. We were playing at a bar there called Rick's Bar. They've got a big beer garden out the back, and then the next day we were about an hour and a half north from there, up on what's called the Sunshine Coast, and we were doing a big festival there. Well, for what it was big. We had about 2,500 people at just a community festival. We had another good headline act from Australia playing there as well. So it's pretty open ended where we'll play. It's not a constant thing, but our manager Diane has been securing us some really awesome gigs, especially in the last 12 months. So touring, look, not so much touring, I suppose. I would like to think though that in the future, if everything pans out and it works that way, that we could lock in some stuff, maybe some bigger stuff, going more interstate. And I mean, me personally, I'd love to, head overseas and do some stuff there as well. But, once again, because Australia's so far away, just for a return ticket to anywhere is, $2,000 plus. So it's a fairly big financial commitment there.
Right. Now, let me ask you something. You guys just put out a new album?
Yep, that's right, mate.
Is that, let me see, Reflections?
No, that's that one.
That's
that was actually the when Murray and I sort of got back together a few years back. We sort of just recorded that in his garage as a demo kind of thing, and just to I guess hack out some of the new stuff and see how it sounded. The current album that's in the circulation at the moment is Chair, and have you got that one there?
That's a 10-track.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's been really great for us. When Diane from Scotland, she's our promotions manager, but she started sort of getting it out there in the UK, and obviously it's sort of moved over to the US too through social media means and things like that, into various radio stations and also independent online stations and things like that. So it's been great and pretty well received in different arenas. So
now we're going to be playing 2 tracks today, right? And I'm just wondering, I think one of them is called Why in the Road.
Yep.
And the other one is called I Believe.
Mm-hmm.
So now, are these 2 tracks part of that 10-track Chair album?
They are, mate. Yes, they are.
Cool.
Now we did them as part of the album, and if your audience would like to know, they can actually go on to YouTube, and if they Google the Updraft Imperative, I Believe, you'll actually see the music clip for that as well. We did a music video for that as well.
Cool. So that's on YouTube. Everybody can just go to YouTube and search you guys, right? Which is the Updraft Imperative.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we're rocking out, mate. We look fantastic. Big multi-billion-dollar studio effects, smoke machine. It was great. No, actually, we self-funded that. We self-funded that video, and we're really proud of what we did. Just on our own bat as such. It's really awesome. We've got some really great feedback from it.
So, and that's the one that I Believe, right?
That's right.
That's correct, mate.
Oh, cool. Well, you know what? Why don't we play that song first?
Okay, sounds great.
So here is Updraft Imperative with their big song called I Believe, of which they also have a fantastic multi-billion-dollar YouTube production.
That's it, Pat. That's the one.
That's the one. Okay. Here they are. I Believe.
provides enough to satisfy my need, and that I can rely on him for everything. So why do I resist the act of letting go? I say I give you all, you retain control. I believe that his grace is there for everyone, and that I am his face, a revelation to show the way yet life is so insulated. How do I find a way less self-centered? There's a distance from my head to my heart. My head says I believe. I believe I'm tiny from the stone that holds me back. Let everything in me say I believe. I believe we are called to be the light of the world until he returns, his glory revealed. But how do you believe the things that I tell you when the light behind my eyes is too dim to shine true? There's a distance from my head to my heart. My head says I believe. I believe I'm tiny from the stone that holds me back. Let everything in me say I believe. There's a distance from my head to my heart. My head says I believe. I believe I'm tiny from the stone that holds me back. Let everything in me say I believe. Sometimes I feel like time will keep ticking, and when the time is right, I'll make a difference. When will I realize that all the ends are his? Every minute that I have on earth should scream, I believe. There's a distance from my head to my heart. My head says I believe. I believe I'm tiny from the stone that holds me back. Let everything in me say I believe. There's a distance from my head to my heart. My head says I believe. I believe I'm tiny from the stone that holds me back. Let everything in me say I believe.
Tell me about that song then that we just heard.
Take it away, Joshy.
Yeah, righto. Yeah, no. Well, it's a song that I guess fairly personal for me, as a lot of them are, because lyrically I sort of do most of them. But the other song that we'll be talking about later, I think Murray sort of wrote most of that, so he'll probably talk about that one. But this song, I believe, I guess, is was just a reminder to myself that as I was writing it, about, I guess, living fully in my beliefs and not. Sometimes you can sort of just get caught up in other things, and I guess there's sections of your life. I mean, as a band, we're Christians and we believe in God, and that God should, I guess, guide the decisions and that in our lives. But sometimes there's parts of your life where you sort of you kind of hold back and want to keep to yourself, and that's sort of not right. So it was just a reminder, and hopefully that people, I guess, from all walks can be encouraged by it and challenged to what they believe in, and not compromise themselves.